All right, so are you ready, guys? Okay, so
Yes.
let me start and close the chat box, and I'm your MC. So welcome, friends and staff of Riverside University Health System Behavioral Health. Welcome, members of the Asian American Task Force. My name is Gladys Lee, and I'm the consultant for the Asian American Task Force, AATF. I will be your MC this afternoon. Let's welcome our co-chairs for today's event.
Hi.
And I like to introduce our co-chairs, but I also want to say that my dear friend and a longtime supporter of AATF, Mr. Tony Ortego, who is the current AATF co-chair for the second term, had a family emergency. So this morning he had to fly out to Louisiana, and he sends his regrets. However, we have our other co-chair with us, and that is Mrs. Karen Chang. Before Karen introduce what we're doing today or say a few words of opening remarks, let me say a few words about this dynamic lady. Karen is the founder and former president of ICAA, Inland Chinese American Alliance. Under her leadership, this group grew to over 1,000 members. ICAA's purpose is to support and promote Chinese culture and also to do charity work, such as feeding the homeless and donating. Recently, ICAA donated 100,000 masks and PPE to local hospitals, fire departments, and police departments. Karen has served the Inland Empire Chinese community for over 35 years. Professionally, she was a registered nurse, but decided to enter business and became one of the top real estate agents in the Inland Empire. So please help me welcome Mrs. Karen Chang, who will say a few words to welcome you. Karen.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is year. Normally we celebrate. This is the biggest day for our Chinese people. And this year, the new year will be on Friday. So today we get together to welcome the new year, the year of ox. Year of ox means that we will be stronger, not only the health, our job, and our relationship, and we will expand. No matter how, we all united together. We can fight together and wish everyone you have a wonderful new year.
Thank you, Karen. And now, please help me welcome. Actually, now I'm going to share with you today's program highlights. Presenting for your enjoyment today, we will talk a little bit about the history of the lunar horoscope, the blessings of the year of the ox. 6 different Asian cultural groups will present how their community celebrate Lunar New Year and their New Year's. Then we will have performances with a traditional Chinese instrument called erhu and a Chinese dance. We will hear periodically in between presentations from children, our future leaders, wishing us a happy new year and sharing with us what the new year means to them. We are very blessed to have Austin Wee, who is a medical student at UCR School of Medicine, who would share with us how he is maintaining hope and wellness in this time of challenge. We will share with you a list of resources available. We will then We will have a tribute to COVID-19 heroes, then a drawing for raffle, and blessings for the new year, and thank you to our sponsors. So we really have a very packed and fun and informative program. Next, we will hear about the history of the lunar horoscope. And before we turn this over to Rosalind, let me say a few words about this lady. Rosalind Liu is an immigrant from China. She is current president from ICAA. She has over 30 years experience as a registered nurse, and she's currently working at the Loma Linda Veterans Hospital. Rosalind is a dedicated volunteer and someone who cares a lot for people who need help. Please help me welcome Mrs. Rosalind Liu, who will present the history of the lunar horoscope and the blessings of the year of the ox. Welcome, Rosalind.
Hello everyone, my name is Rosalind Liu, and I'm so excited to share with you the history of the Chinese zodiac. The first record of the use of the zodiac on people was during the northern and southern dynasties in the Chinese history, which is about 420 to 589. The Chinese zodiac is also called the 12-year animals. In the Chinese calendar, there are 12 animals guarding the years, taking turns. So each year is assigned with an animal. These animals are rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and lastly, pig. Each animal year occurs every 12 years. The Chinese zodiac began in the 6th century BC. The legend among the Asian people goes like this. One year, the great Buddha summoned all the animals to an assembly of all beasts. The first 12 animals arriving to the meeting will be assigned to a year with the number. On the day of the assembly, rats arrived first, so they ranked the first in the year, followed by oxen, tigers, rabbits, and so on and so forth. The pig is the last one, so it ranks last in the 12-year calendar. Another chapter of this story tells why cats and rats become enemies. You see, at the very beginning, cats and rats were good friends. The night before going to the assembly, they slept together. They made a promise. Whoever wake up first will wake up the other. Unfortunately, the next day, the rat woke up first and went to the assembly all by himself, paying no attention to the cat. And when the cat woke up and rushed to the assembly, the great Buddha had already assigned the 12th year. And that may answer the question why the cat is not in the Chinese zodiac. The cat and the rat have since forged a deep feud. Up to this day, as we all know from the cartoons, the Tom and Jerry, right?
And now let's listen to Rosalind tell us about the blessings of the year of the ox.
Hello again. And now I'd like to share with you the blessings of the year of ox. 2021 is a year of the ox, starting from February 12, 2021, which is the Chinese Lunar New Year day, and lasting till January 31st, 2022. The Chinese zodiac year is usually set to start from late January to mid-February. If you were born in the year of ox, your zodiac sign is an ox. And if you were born in January or February of the following years, you might be an ox or a rat. The recent zodiac years of ox signs are 1961, 1973, 1985, 1997, 2009, 2021, and the next one is 2033. An ox year occurs every 12 years. Having an honest nature, oxen are known for their diligence, dependability, strength, and determination. These reflect traditional conservative characteristics and virtues. Having great patience and a desire to make progress, oxen can achieve their goals by consistent effort in doing things according to their ideals and capabilities. Before taking any action, oxen will have their plan with a definite plan with the detailed steps to which they apply with their strong faith and physical strength. As a result, people of the ox zodiac sign often enjoy great success. They're high achievers. Oxen are weakest in their communication skills. They're not good communicators and even think it's not worthwhile to exchange ideas with others. They are sort of stubborn, if you will, and they stick to their own way. So you might want to spend some effort in that area for making improvement. The word ox in Chinese is pronounced the same as bull, 牛. The Chinese will greet each other on the New Year's Day like this: 虎视牛视，牛气冲天, which means bull rise in the stock market. So my best wish for you, my friends, is good luck for your stock in the new year of ox. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalind. That is so fun. And I'm an ox. And my New Year's goal is to talk less and listen more. Thank you, Rosalind. Next, please. This is going to be one of our main attractions. We have 6 groups sharing with you this afternoon how their culture celebrate the year of the ox. The first group that's going to share this with you is the Cambodian group. And I want to say a few words about the presenter. The presenter is Mrs. Dini Chek. Mrs. Chek and her husband, Mr. Chek, have been a dedicated supporter of AATF. They participated last year in Riverside City with a booth on Cambodian culture. They attend all our events. And of course, they also are connected to RUHS-BH because Mrs. Chek is the mother-in-law of our dear Tony Portugal. So let's hear from Mrs. Dini Chek on how Cambodians celebrate the New Year.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dini Chek. The tradition celebration Cambodian New Year called Chol Nam Thmai is 3 days. It is a public holiday in the country. New Year Day usually fall in April 13 or 14. It is the end of the harvest season. The first day, Moha Sangkran. We build the altar to welcome new angel called Devada Thmai. Visit pagoda, prepare food offering to the monks. The second day we call Annabot. In remembering the elder, honor their ancestor called Bangskol. We build a dome shaped stupa of sand in remembrance of the dead. The third day, Ngai Lan Sak. Pithi Srong Prat. Pithi Srong Prat, we bath the Buddha statue in the pagoda. We take everything out and wash all the Buddha. We wash the elder, the parents, and ask them for forgiveness. We play traditional game like Ongkun. This is called Ongkun. We place Ongkun in the row, and then we have two groups. Who throw like bowling, knock the Ongkun down, they are the winners. In front, we have a rope and two groups also. We pull it. Who is stronger, pull and that group fall down, and we have the winner. And another one called Chao Chung. Chung, we make from Krama, and we just fold it and tie like this, and we throw. We have two groups also. The group that catch the Chung is the winner. And the winner gonna grab the Chung and go, run after the loser and poke them. My favorite Khmer food like Khmer curry. Everybody know about curry. We just different kind of vegetable. You can put meat, pork, or chicken. It's up to you. But you, especially Cambodian, we make a lot of krương. Krương is come from lemongrass, garlic, shallot, turmeric, galanga, and we grind it, and the chili, the red chili. And another one, clear psycho. Clear psycho is a beef salad. We just use a different kind of vegetable that you like it. And the thing is the sauce that you make on top of the beef to the lemon. You squeeze the lemon on top of the beef to make it cook. You don't broil the beef. You just use the lemon and you squeeze it. You get the juice and you boil the juice and you pour the juice on top of the beef. And then you just make it, taste it, add fish sauce, add whatever you like it. Okay. And amok. Amok is most of people love amok. Amok made from fish, coconut milk, fish sauce, and krương. Like I just explained how to make krương and make with the fish, and then we steam that amok. And num dessert called like num som cake. This is my num som cake. I wrap with banana leaves, glutinous rice, coconut meal, coconut grated, and sugar, and then wrap it, roll it, and steam it. And another one, num som chuk, similar to num som cake, but the inside is with mung bean and the pork. And then we have to boil very long time. It takes too long to cook. And num com is like the easy way to do it. Just a glutinous rice, and the inside the num com have a sesame seed, grated coconut, sugar, and you wrap it with banana leaves, shake it to form it good, and then you steam it the same way as num bok. And another one I call num plai ai. This is a way num plai ai. You have a glutinous flour, and the inside is a sugar palm. and we have to mold the glucosinous and put the sugar inside and boil the water, wait until it floated, it means it cooked. It does not float it, not cooking. And then you grate the coconut and put it and serve it. So delicious. នៅក្នុងឱកាសចូលឆ្នាំថ្មីនេះនាងខ្ញុំសូមជូនពរដល់បងប្អូនទាំងអស់គ្នាឲ្យបានជួបប្រទះតែនឹងពុទ្ធពរទាំង4ប្រការគឺអាយុវណ្ណៈសុខៈពលៈកំបីគ្លៀងគ្លាតឡើយ May Cambodian New Year bring you all longevity, prosperity, health and strength. Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Check. And now I am salivating, looking at all the delicious food. The next culture that's going to present how they celebrate the Year of the Ox is the Chinese culture. And I'd like to welcome Karen Chang from ICAA to share this story with us.
Chinese New Year, also known as Spring Festival, Lunar New Year. It is pretty much the biggest holiday of year in China. This year is the year of ox. Here are some traditions you can participate, no matter where you are. Before New Year comes, we always clean our house. We sweeping away the dust represents a wish to put away the old things and say goodbye to the old year and welcome the new year. Before Chinese New Year Eve, people buy New Year's food, snacks, New Year decoration, and New Year clothes. New Year Eve, just like Christmas, it is a boom time for shopping. We go to New Year street market to shop. Chinese people may be thrifty most of the time. This traditional festival time. We buy red bags, we buy decoration, we buy flowers, and we buy all the food, clothes, and shoes and everything. Putting up New Year decoration. People decorate their home with red chocolates, homemade duilian. We also call it chunlian. It is complimentary word to bring good fortune to the home and the residence. You can also put lantern, paper cutout, and a New Year painting or firecracker. You put out this decor to keep evil away and pray for the blessing and the peace to your home. 2021 is a year of ox. You can put the ox images on your decoration too. It is complimentary word to bring good fortune to the home and the residence. You can also put lantern, paper cutout, and a New Year painting or firecracker. You put out this decor to keep evil away and pray pray for the blessing and the peace to your home. 2021 is a year of ox. You can put the ox images on your decoration too.
This is my home. I still have it.
The New Year Eve feast is a must-do dinner with all family members reuniting. Big family, including several generations, sit at round tables and enjoy the food and the time together. Dish with lucky meaning must be included in the dinner, such as fish, dumpling, sticky rice, 年糕, spring roll, and the noodle. The foods are symbolic.
This is our New Year dinner. Sticky rice, all kind of dishes. Peking duck.
On New Year's Day, everybody put on their new clothes and shoes, wishing each other good fortune and a happy new year. And it is also the time for children to get their red envelope.
Oh, Karen, beautiful Karen. Thank you so much for such a lovely presentation. And next, for your enjoyment, we have two performances to share with you. Our first performance is a Chinese instrument. It's a traditional musical instrument. It is known as erhu, and it's also known as a Chinese violin in the West. The uniqueness of erhu is the sound produced in many ways come closer to the human voice. The bow hair may be horsehair or synthetic fiber, but like the violin, rosin is also used. Before we start the performance, I'd like to introduce Professor James Liu. And can you guess who is his better half? And Professor Liu is a professor of English, Associate Dean, College of Arts and Sciences and the Department Chair of Modern Language and Literature at Cal Baptist University. And now please help me welcome Professor Liu, Rosalind's dear husband, who is going to perform the erhu. And after that, we have a traditional Chinese dance to entertain you by the Mira Chinese dance group. Thank you, Professor Liu, for sharing such a beautiful piece of music. And next, for your entertainment, as I mentioned earlier, is a traditional Chinese dance by the Mera Dance Group, and it's called A Girl's Love. Enjoy. Isn't that beautiful, folks? That is a beautiful dance. And now we're back to our cultural presentation. We are now going to hear from our Filipino American friends about how Lunar New Year and New Year traditions are celebrated. But before we begin, let me introduce the presenters. Presenting these slides with us is a very dear person of AATF, Mila Banks. Mila Banks is the current coordinator of the Filipino American Mental Health Resource Center. She is a founding member of AATF back in the early 2000s. She's the former president of the board of PVFAA, Paris Valley Filipino American Association. Joining Mila are two young people, dynamic. I saw them in action recently in December at one of their fantastic workshops. We have Nico, she goes by Nico Dungo. She is an outreach worker. Nico hails from UCI with a degree in public health policy and Asian American studies. And let me tell you, if you have not seen Nico in action, you have to. She is definitely a cheerleader. Joining Nico and Mila is Ellen Agonoy. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Agonoy. She is a UCR graduate in sociology. She's currently pursuing a graduate degree in education. Ellen wants to be a teacher. Please help me welcome Mila, Nico, and Ellen, who will be sharing with you the Filipino culture.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gladys, and also thank you to Celine as well as all of AATF for pleasantly inviting all Filipino American Mental Health Resource Center to share with y'all how Filipinos really get down during the Lunar New Year. See, I know how to get it lit. Sorry. Anyway, so let's get started. Celine, if you can move on to the next slide, please. So we're going to be sharing with you historical backgrounds, superstitions, as well as food that have incredibly many similarities as well as many parallels between us Filipinos and Chinese cultures and the Chinese community too. So next slide, please. Oh, and if, by the way, if you want to see who's presenting, just check out whoever's dripping in Filipino attire today. We got Tita Mila in her traditional Cordillera attire. We got Ellen in her representing Filipinoness, and I'm here in my barong and my malong too as well. So to the next slide, please. So for the historical background, just to let y'all know, Lunar New Year is one of the most important celebrations and events in China, but also just like Gladys said, it's very the way it has traveled across the world, the way it's traveled, its influence is really because of the Chinese diaspora. And so here in the Philippines, we find many of their influences in our culture. But how does that get it? But how did that happen? Well, before the Spaniards, China and the Philippines had a very well-established commerce relationship where we were exchanging goods, trading goods, such as silk, porcelain, farm implements, ornaments, food, and more. Their bond and constant exchange paved way to influencing each other's lives. Well-known fact, soy sauce came from, we acquired soy sauce. If you've seen adobo, soy sauce did not come from us. It came from China. So to the next slide, please. Furthermore, around this year, many Filipinos flocked to Binondo in Manila for around this time. It was founded in the 16th century during the Spanish colonization, and it's considered as the oldest Chinatown in the world. So there's some pictures over there, if you can see, onto right, hopefully my right, it looks like my right, Binondo and near Manila. And they're not everyone, and so hailing from also we do have Filipinos who also share Chinese heritage. They are also known as Sinoys or Chinese mestizo, and it harkens back into the blend of, again, the two beautiful cultures that that we are sharing with y'all today, informing y'all today about the Chinese community and the Filipino community. So our guiding question is, how do Chinese cultural beliefs actually influence Filipinos, and how does this incorporate with Lunar New Year, and how do Filipinos celebrate it? To the next slide, please. Ellen, you can go ahead and take it away.
Hi everyone, I hope you guys can hear me all right with my microphone. I'm gonna go ahead and dive into how the Philippines has been influenced through Chinese culture, and how, you know, as mentioned before, how the cultures have blended together, and how this also translates into how we celebrate Lunar New Year. So next slide, please. So as you've seen in the last slide, we're going to focus on superstitions. So similarly, we like to wear the color red, you know, and as you can see, it signifies happiness and fortune, vitality, as well as strength, and to also ward off the mythical beast, as we all know, neon, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, as apparently neon does not like the color red. Um, and the reason why we also decide to not wear colors like black and white is because it represents mourning, and we avoid wearing that color so that we could wear red to commemorate the 15-day celebration. So next slide, please. So another superstition that we share is that we use loud noise or firecrackers to ward off bad spirits. Um, as you can see, there's like this little comparison, but also similarity of what we use. And so on the left, we have the dragon and lion dance with percussion, fireworks, and firecrackers. And this is all in the goal to keep the mythical beast neon away. Filipinos, we also do it too, but we we like to be basic and just use horns or cooking pots to create noise, and it's also for the same goal. So as you can see here, there's just a few or a couple images shown below. Especially this is like I'm gonna pronounce this. I'm gonna try my best to, but it's Binondo, which is the capital or the Chinatown or the biggest Chinatown in the Philippines. And as you can see, these are some images that are shown with the dances and the noise that they make. So next slide, please. And the last superstition that we also share is the concept of sweeping the floor at night, except we take it from a different approach. So we get scolded why we sweep the floor at night, and the reason why is because it's sweeping away good fortune. And what I'd like to add to this is the origin. So during a time when lamps were the only source of light and cleaning at night was risky, only one might sweep away something valuable without notice. So that's why, even though there are a couple reasons why, like, why we sweep the floor, whether it's ushering the new year or just trying to, prevent any good fortune to go away. So with that being said, that's on the topic of superstitions, and we're going to go into the topic of food. So Nicole, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, did you miss me? Anyway, when it comes to food, it is a celebration. Where are we not without food? Can we go on to the next slide, please? So if you've seen Filipinos, we lather the table with so much food. I promise you, you're probably gonna leave a Filipino house like 5 pounds heavier. And so around this time, especially for New Year's, although there is no specific Lunar New Year celebration as of the moment that we could have find, we want to continue to share with you what do we also do on New Year's, or specifically New Year's Eve. So we have this thing called Medianoche. It is a lavish midnight feast on New Year's Eve that has been adopted from Spanish colonizers. Since then, this has become such a meaningful time where all family members are coming home. So, folks that are overseas, or like folks that you probably had a hard time with, this is the most special time besides Christmas, where everyone's coming home to celebrate and bring in the new year. So you're asking, what's on the dinner table? And I'm going to be hungry in the next 30 minutes if we keep talking about food. If you heard it before, we love having pancit. Any form of pancit. Pancit has a linguistic history where it means convenient food, or wonton noodles. And and the pancit represents longevity and good health. Fair warning, if you do cut the noodles though, you are corrupting or you are jinxing yourself from longevity and good health. Other things that are on the table is all these fruits. No, not specifically these fruits. The roundness of these fruits, where it symbolizes bringing wealth and prosperity, because roundness or a circle represents never-ending wealth. And last but not least, this is tikoy, or translated into English sticky rice cake. And so Filipinos have different variations of rice cake. You probably have heard it as cassava cake. When I was growing up in my own household, where it was made with coconuts. Here in this picture is made with ube. And this represents strengthened family and relationship bonds because stickiness is like a glue. So on to the next slide. Oh, if you're hungry now, you're gonna get really, really hungry right now. This beautiful pig is called lechon. If you ever had it, it's a very roasted duck for probably 12 hours, maybe more. And it is also often eaten during these times. It's probably one of the meats that's only eaten during these times. Meats that are not considered on a dinner table is fish and chicken because they're more associated with food scarcity or how would you call it? Scavenge food. So they're very common. And so I hope that this is a very informative presentation, and I am so sorry for making all y'all hungry. But if we can go to the next slide, please. If you want to follow us more on how we're doing at the Filipino American Mental Health Resource Center, because we are a nonprofit dedicating to improving the mental health and well-being of the Filipino American community and allies of Riverside Inland Empire and San Bernardino. If you want to check us out, here's our social medias along with our email. And I want to thank Celine and Gladys as well as AATF for honoring us today at their Lunar New Year celebration.
Thank you, Mila, Ellen, Nicole. Thank you. That was, I think I see on the chat box, a lot of us are now salivating and we want food. But this is one thing that all Asian people share is our love for food. And I'm just thinking, how come we don't see more overweight people? There must be a secret that we eat all this food and we stay slim. So we are blessed. And now for your entertainment pleasure, we have something very, very cute to share with you. Throughout this program, you will hear some New Year greetings from children. Many of them are children of clients at the Asian Pacific Counseling and Treatment Center. And so now I'd like to thank APCTC staff, and let's hear from our young Asian Americans.
New Year means see the sunrise. Our God is so faithful. Hi guys, today I'm gonna be telling you about Lunar New Year. So what I like about doing a New Year is I can wear my pink dress I'm wearing right now, and I can get money from the red bag. Our New Year culture is that we stick Land and get hongbao. We also do Bian Pao for good luck. Bye.
The New Year for the Chinese because I think their clock was different.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So then what does it mean to you?
Money. We get money.
New Year means that's good all the time.
What does New Year mean to you?
It means, well, the New Year means a lot to me because I'm going to be growing up and it's going to be my birthday.
I like to put my red envelope money under my pillow for good luck. And that's why they call it Ya Sui Qian.
Hi, so today I'll tell you what we do on Lunar New Year. So, we gather around with family and we have lots and lots of food. And we pass out red envelopes to kids that have money inside.
Well, thank you to our young children wishing us a Happy New Year. And next cultural group to present is the Korean American group. And before we show you their video, I want to say a few words about the wonderful, wonderful staff who put this together. Asian Pacific Counseling and Treatment Center is now in Riverside County. We are very, very blessed that they are in Riverside County. APCTC has over 50 years experience in Los Angeles County, providing an array of mental health and related services to a very diverse group of Asian Americans and Pacific Islander. I want to thank Novan Zayarath from RUHS-BH, who brought APCTC to Riverside through a contract to serve transitional age youth. And I also want to recognize a very special lady, the director of APCTC, Dr. Sheila Wu, her staff, Estee Song, and many others who not only developed this video for our enjoyment, they also, especially Dr. Wu, helped us so much to put this event together. So let's welcome the Korean American celebrations. Wow, isn't that a very cute video? I called it very hip. Thank you, Estee. And I think Grace was the one who put this together from APCTC. So thank you to all of you for such a lovely video. Next, we are going to have a very special gentleman present his culture, Laotian culture, to all of us. But before we start, I want to say a few words about Novan. Novan Zayarath, did I pronounce that right? Okay.
You did.
Great. Is the Western Region Children's Services Administrator at RUHS-BH. He's the former co-chair of AATF and a consummate volunteer. Every time I ask Novan or his family to help out, he never says no. Just a very, very dear and very kind person. I'm so privileged to know you, Novan. Aside from his wonderful dedication to community and to his job, and of course, I already credited him for bringing APCTC to the Asian community in Riverside County, Novan is a devoted family man. He is a father of 3 boys, and they are a basketball family. So please help me. Oh, and last but not least, if you have not heard Novan's story from last May's AATF event, Hope for the Future, you have to listen to it. Novan came to this country at a young age as a refugee. And let me tell you, his journey was not easy, but look at him today. So please help me welcome Novan, who will share his Laotian family celebrations.
Right. Thank you for that nice introduction, Gladys. Really appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead with the next slide, and we'll keep there for a second. So hello, everybody. I'm Novan Zayarath, and I work for Riverside University Health System Behavioral Health as the Western Region Children's Administrator. First off, I want to thank the Asian American Task Force and the Cultural Competency Unit for giving me an opportunity to share about the Lao culture, and in particular, Lao New Year. Lao New Year, also called Bun Pi Mai, takes place in April. In Laos, it's a 3-day celebration. In the United States, it's 2 days, and it's on the weekends because of work schedule and all the business that we go through. In Riverside, San Bernardino, and Orange County, most Lao people celebrate at the Wat Lao Buddhist Temple of Riverside. The event includes traditional dance performances, live music, vendors selling traditional Lao food. And for those who aren't familiar with Lao food, it's very similar to Thai food, except that Lao food is more spicier and more sour, as opposed to being sweet. So at these celebrations, there's a beauty pageant and water fights, which is a hallmark of Lao New Year. Getting wet and being splashed with water is what makes our celebration special, or at least I think so. Here, these 2 pictures here are pictures of my niece, all decked out in our traditional clothing there. To the left are Caitlin and Tessa and Kara, and then on the right is a picture with them and their mother. And this was taken at the Lao New Year 3 years ago here in Riverside. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the first day of celebration starts in the morning with a Pu Kwan ceremony at the temple. The picture to the left here shows people sitting on the floor praying. The white string you see in the picture is very important. The string encapsulates the prayer and the blessing of the people. So after the Pu Kwan ceremony, the string is then cut to about 10 inches and then tied to people's wrists. Those tying the strings would whisper and bless the individual with good health, prosperity, and anything that they feel is important. The strings are worn for 3 days or more, or until it gets dirty, then it gets cut off. So, when you see, an Asian person with like cotton white strings around the wrists, it's a pretty good chance that that's a Laotian person. Okay, so when the morning ceremony and prayer ends, the celebration begins with the parade around the temple. Again, what we call but. So in the middle picture, that's what you see there. The monk usually leads the procession, followed by seniors and adults, and then anyone else who wants to participate in the parade. Notice the colorful attires. People shown here are dressed in the traditional formal Lao clothing. The women's skirts are made of fine silk, and the unique designs on the bottom represents the region they're from usually. To complement the outfit, we wear 24-karat gold chains and jewelries. The men also dress to impress, as you can see. And for those who are familiar with MC Hammer back in the 90s, I'm pretty sure his parachute pants was inspired by Lao fashion. The people you see here are, again, my niece. On the right there, they're part of the performing dance group that you'll see here in a couple minutes. So for the performance, so after the performance comes the talent show, beauty pageant contest, and then the floor opens up for people to dance, called font. Basically, it's like country line dancing, except you slow walk in a circle to the music being played while you sway your hand in a rhythmic fashion. I heard some people, Westerners, call it the butterfly dance, because you sway and you move like a butterfly. It's easy, anyone can do it, even if you have no rhythm. So long as you move in a circle and you don't stand out, you'll be just fine. So let's go to the next slide. We're gonna watch this video. This is, again, a Lao traditional dance performed by my niece and cousins in the Lao New Year celebration 3 years ago at the Wat Lao Buddhist Temple in Riverside. So I hope you enjoy.
Beautiful job, Novan.
Thank
What
you.
a beautiful, I mean, you need to have a lot of balance to be able to do that dance, and their fingers are so graceful. And thank you for sharing that wonderful, wonderful cultural presentation with us, Novan.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
most
you for
of
the
us
opportunity.
hear about Chinese, Japanese, Korean, but we don't hear a lot about the Laotian community. So thank you for blessing us with this information. Next, we're going to hear from our children again. So let's hear from our little kids and see what they have to say.
Since upcoming Chinese New Year is the year of cows, we're gonna practice how to be like cows. Moo! Moo, 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 moo.
It's the year of the ox. What does an ox sound like?
Cow in Korean is so. So says meh, meh. And cows say moo.
That's cute.
What is your favorite food to eat during New Year, the New Year?
It is lechon or roasted pig.
What do you like to eat on New Year's Day?
Turkey leg.
Turkey leg?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like duck cook. I like chapchae. I like rice cake. I like cookies.
Aren't they cute? They're just adorable. So thank you, APCTC, for these very, very cute video. And now to our final cultural presentation from the Vietnamese American family. I'd like to introduce to you another special lady who works at RUHS-BH. Yvonne Tran is the supervisor at the Larry Smith Correctional Facility in Banning. She is a licensed MFT and also pursuing a doctorate degree. Yvonne is a mother of 3 boys and a dedicated volunteer for AATF. Like Novan, every time we ask her, she always say yes. She and her family and her husband, Du Huynh, had put together a beautiful video to share with us. Before we start, I want to recognize that Yvonne, like Novan, is also a refugee. She came to this country when she was 10 years old. After escaping Vietnam, she and her family had to spend time in the Philippines. And it is such resiliency in the Asian community that I think will help us all get through this current challenge that we're facing. So let's welcome Yvonne Tran and her husband Du Huynh and her 3 sons as they share their family tradition in their beautiful home.
Thank you, Gladys.
Before that, there's a lot of preparations as far as from cleaning up the altar and then buying a lot of flowers and decorations around the house. As you can see, my whole house is very colorful right now in preparation for the New Year. And I do this every year. This is what we call Tham Mai. This is a paper lantern that we use for decoration, and the yellow and red represented wealth, healthy, and welcoming all the positive, all the prosperity for next year and good luck. That's basically what red and yellow in New Year you'll see a lot, and that's what it stands for. This is Pussy Willow. This is another flower that's very common for New Year, for death. And they all represent very similar meanings that it's supposed to bring good luck, keep away the negative energy, and bring in all the good luck and prosperity for the next New Year. This one is the peach blossom, and it's very well known for New Year as well. And you will find these three flowers that I mentioned very common in Vietnam or even here. And I'll show you later the flower market in Westminster, in the heart of Little Saigon, and all of these flowers are sold on the street. This is where I got them from.
So this is the Asian Garden Mall that I'm sitting in front. It's the landmark of the Vietnamese community in Orange County. This is where the best flower market takes place every year. You can see all the fruits, flowers, in preparations for the new year are sold here. And there are a lot of customs practiced during that, such as visiting families, visiting temples, ancestral worship, wishing families Happy New Year. We often buy all these fruits to bring back to our home to help to pay our respect to our parents and also to put on the family altar. And these are some lanterns and this decoration that are sold at the Dead Flower Market in Orange County. And you will see some flowers coming up. Those are the flowers like I mentioned earlier. In addition, during the New Year, it is a family reunion time. People come back to their family origins, typically during the New Year's Eve, having dinner with family, waiting for New Year's Eve to come. The minute that the clock hits 12, they will burn the firecrackers. Businesses will have dragon dancing to bring good luck into their business, good fortune for the new year. And they would play some board game, bầu cua, as shown. They also play the Lotto. It's in English, it's bingo. And this is how we set up our fruits at home. It could be round plates. I display this on my table in a long plate. This is some traditional food that we make. This is like a rice cake with shrimp. You steam them. And this is the traditional food again. It's the bitter melon stuffed with ground pork, eating with rice. Bun thick is what you see right in the front. It looks like a tamale inside, but it's bigger than tamale. These are some of my family's pictures over the year for New Year. Every year my boys get dressed up, and we wish Grandma a Happy New Year. In Vietnamese greetings, we can say chúc mừng năm mới, which is Happy New Year. We also say chúc mừng tất niên, which is Cung chúc Tân Xuân. It's also it's wishing a gracious wish of the New Year in the spring. We would say to everyone. Another way of saying Happy New Year is chúc sống lâu trăm tuổi. We wish that to our great elderly parents or grandparents, meaning we wishing them longevity. And most important, during New Year, that you want to put in your best behavior, your best outfit, the biggest smile you're gonna have. Just set date for the New Year.
Chúc con học hành tiến tới, mạnh khỏe. Ok. Right.
Chúc mừng năm mới. Con chúc phần bò.
Bò là cái gì? Bò là cái gì?
Bò
gì? Bố cũng chúc con năm mới học giỏi, có nhiều bạn gái. Ok.
Con chúc bố năm mới được nhiều sức khỏe.
Vậy thôi đó. Không có giàu có gì hết. No, phải trúng số vậy chứ. Bố cũng chúc con năm mới có vợ, có bạn gái Việt Nam. No. Ok, không giỏi. Ok. Yeah, all right.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about my culture, our New Year with you all. New Year's, that's a new beginning, new hopes, new dreams. I hope you all have a wonderful New Year, a healthy New Year, And thank you once again. Chúc mừng năm mới.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? Yvonne, thank you for inviting your children and your husband and sharing your beautiful home with us.
Thank you, Gladys. Thank you, everyone.
It's they're all wonderful. All the presentations. I am so grateful. Anyway, next we will hear from a new group of children. These children are students at the Riverside Chinese School. They are going to be wishing all of us a Happy New Year in Mandarin.
爆竹声声辞旧岁，福报平安健康来。我祝大家新年好 ，Happy New Year！
大家舞动欢唱，高唱声声响，幸福的生活天呀天又响，声响声响声声响。
祝大家新年快乐，身体健康，万事如意。大家好，我是梁华顺，我祝大家新年快乐，牛年大吉，牛气冲天，恭喜发财。新年快乐！我给大家拜个年。 我祝大家身体好，牛年大吉。大家好，我是李一晨，祝你们新的一年快快乐乐、平平安安、顺顺利利。我是韦博阳，祝大家牛年大吉，身体健康，万事如意，恭喜发财。
Wow, aren't they adorable? Well, these students were greeting us. They are sharing typical sayings Chinese people say to each other. They include Happy New Year, wishing you fortune, wishing you good health, wishing you a million things go your way. And thank you to ICAA and the Riverside Chinese School for sharing these video. Okay, are you guys ready to shift the mood a little bit? These wonderful presentation lifted all of us up. At least it lifted me up to feel that I am ready to welcome my year of the ox. However, this program is funded by Riverside University Health System Behavioral Health. Behavioral health includes mental health, which is a subject that has tremendous misunderstanding in many, many Asian cultures. So please help me welcome Austin Hui, who is a second-year medical student at UCR School of Medicine. He's also co-leader of this group called APAMSA, Asian Pacific American Medical Student Association. APAMSA has been supporting AATF Lunar Fest for quite a few years. They would come to our booth, downtown Riverside, and they would provide free health screening. Let's welcome Austin, who is going to share what he is doing to stay hopeful and well.
Hi everyone. Thanks for the invitation to be a part of your celebration for Lunar New Year. I'm Austin Lee. I'm a second year medical student at UCR School of Medicine, and I'm also a co-leader of the Asian Pacific American Medical Student Association. I was asked to talk to you about some tips to be staying well and hopeful. At first, when I thought about this topic, I was giving you some pointers on maybe diet or exercise, but I think that would make me look like I'm talking at you rather than us having a meaningful dialogue about health and wellness. So instead, I'd like us to individually reflect upon last year. I know for a lot of us, last year was really hard and something we want to forget. I went to school, medical school, virtually. I didn't feel like I had a great education. Maybe I couldn't interact with my friend, and there's a lot of negative spiraling thoughts that could potentially hamper onto my mental health. But I'm the type that likes to think about the positives in my life, and it was only through reflection and through meditation. Yes, even during a raging pandemic, I felt better in myself. I like the feeling of being in the present. I took things for granted, like my friends or family, and I realized that there was greater things in my life that I had more ability to do, like I could play piano, I could learn a new hobby, such as meditation. And incorporating meditation, that feeling of being in the zone, I'd like us to do that together. And so why don't we just try to find a comfortable position. I hope you can do this together. You can just sit on your seat, you have your feet planted on the floor. Close your eyes if you want. I'm gonna open my eyes, but allow. Okay, now we're in that position, comfortable position. Allow our muscles to relax and soften on the edges. Okay. Big inhale and exhale. Big inhale and exhale. While we're doing that inhaling and exhaling, I want us to just register the sensations on our body through your mind. Maybe you're seeing how your feet feel.
What I do? What I
do? Hands feel, or that register on your mind. Thoughts may come and go, and I like to just acknowledge those thoughts and say hi. Like hi to a stranger in a park or a street. But like that stranger that walks by, thoughts come and go. And our emotions are transitory. And acknowledging those feelings and thoughts are better than suppressing or running away from, and it's a good feeling to be out of this and knowing that you're okay and that you're enough. And so for those of us who have done that for the first time or multiple times, I like to just say that you can go ahead and open your eyes or get out of that zone of being in meditation. I'm just saying that meditation can be for anyone. Maybe you can try that, but I can say like everyone can be in the zone. Anyone can have like a hobby, or if anyone's seen that new Pixar movie Soul, the character Joe Gardner, played by Jamie Foxx, he like transcends into the stratosphere. His soul does while he plays jazz, and I like to have that type of feeling when I'm in meditation. And maybe that's not for you, and maybe you can translate that energy into something creative or something that you're interested in. And I like to see that positive in the pandemic for us as an exploration of ourselves and what we want to do in our lives and what we would like to further in our lives. And so with that, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your New Year's celebration. I'm hopeful and I'm glad to enter into the new year with you all, and happy year of the ox.
Thank you. Thank you to Austin, and thank you to Dr. Subika, who brought a PAMSA to AATF, and you will be hearing from Dr. Subika a little later. Let's go to the next slide, because right now, to take a little break from celebration, we're going to talk about community resources for Asian American families. Before we show you some of the resources, I want to make a few comments. As you can see from the many presentations today, Asian cultures, Asian Pacific Islander cultures are very, very rich. We have many years. This country that I love, the United States, has only over 200 years. But when you look at many Asian cultures, it's thousands of years. We are very much influenced by Confucius philosophy, which is a hierarchical structure, which emphasizes achievement, filial piety, which is total obedience and respect for our elders. As you can tell, many people see us as very rich or very educationally very successful. We make it to Harvard, we make it to Yale, we make it to UCLA. But guess what? Not every Asian American is smart, wants to go to school, is rich. I know a lot of families who are struggling. So I think we have to also understand that as rich our culture is, we also need to understand that there are people within our culture who don't fit that mold. 2020 has been a year that I have never experienced in my lifetime. This pandemic has not happened to this world in over 100 years. It's not an easy time. I just read 10 million Americans are no longer working. Those who were working before the pandemic, 10 million of our fellow Americans, no matter what ethnic group they come from, are not working. As you heard Austin share, it's so hard to go to medical school on the computer. I mean, it is impacting a lot of us. So before I share with you the resources, I want to encourage all Asian parents, Asians, and everybody, including non-Asians, that we need to look out for each other. When we are hurting, when we feel sad or we have challenges, don't be afraid to seek help or talk to somebody. And those of us who are doing well, notice your friends, your neighbors, your family members. If you see some different behavior, start talking to them about what they may be going through. It's not easy to talk about weaknesses and fears and depression, but we got to do it for each other because we are going through a very tough time. And hopefully in the year of the ox, with more people getting vaccinated and establish herd immunity, that we will be able to overcome this coronavirus that has killed over 400 million Americans and millions in the world. So on a more positive note, I'd like to share with you some of our resources that's available to you. The first resource is the Asian Pacific Counseling and Treatment Center. They are located in Riverside. They have mental health services in various languages, free wellness workshops, and a very, very popular parenting program. In addition, next slide, They have provided specific mental health hotline that has Asian languages for your use in case you need it. This PowerPoint is going to be shared with all of you. So don't worry about writing these numbers down. You will get it in your PowerPoint. The next resource I want to share with you is the Filipino American Mental Health Resource Center. You heard them in their presentation. They are open on Saturdays. They have monthly wellness workshop. And I'm telling you, these workshops are phenomenal. I was a judge in one of this workshop in December, and young people were presenting their projects. And it was a powerful, powerful way to combat mental health stigma and to talk about things that challenge us. Next slide, please. And this is how you can contact FAMHRS, Filipino American Mental Health Resource Center. And now let's go to some other resources. These are from CDC. They are all COVID related. In case you need anything about coping, mental health, stigma, resiliency, helping children cope with emergencies, these are all sites that you can use or you can share with your neighbors, family, and friends. Next slide. And now I want to welcome Mindy McFarland to share with you prevention and early intervention resources at RUHS-BH. Mindy.
Thank you, Gladys. So prevention and early intervention is now offering some free virtual trainings to the community. People may register through Eventbrite, and each training is being offered once every month at various times, so there's plenty of opportunity to join in. More information about the presentations can be found on the flyer, and I'll also drop it in the chat so you can download this as well. So some of the free virtual trainings that we have include Mental Health 101, that really kind of talks about the difference between mental health and mental illness and helps to reduce stigma in our communities about reaching and accessing services. We also have self-care and wellness to really kind of go over and understand how we can really care for our whole person. And also we have building resiliency and understanding trauma. This looks at not only protective factors and resiliency, but also looks at the adverse childhood experiences study and what that means for us and the impact it has on our health. And we have a suicide prevention training that is virtual, which is Know the Signs. This helps us to recognize the signs that someone may be struggling with thoughts of suicide, how to find the words to reach out and ask them directly about those thoughts, and also how to help and link them to resources and support. And lastly, or not lastly, we also have the Riverside County Helpline. This is available for crisis support, and they are familiar with available resources in our local areas. So please jot down that number, take note. It's a very helpful number to have on hand. We do also have PEI services that have gone virtual to be able to better serve our community in this interesting time that we're faced with. And PEI offers a variety of programs for across the lifespan, from pregnancy all the way to older adults. In order to help build protective factors that aid in resiliency and to help reduce those risk factors. So I will also be dropping that flyer. It's a little two-sided quick reference guide. I'll put that in the chat for everyone as well, so you have this resource. And thank you so much for having me, Gladys. It's been a great event.
Well, Mindy, thank you. Thank you so much for your participation. And the next resource that I'm going to be sharing with you are children's services. And there are different clinics within Riverside County, as you can tell on the slide, that can respond to your needs. And there's one in Moreno Valley, quite a few in Riverside, so that if you need help for a child, please avail yourself of these resources. I know language is a barrier, but if you contact them, they will use an interpreter service if they cannot speak with you and direct you to the right resource. From the next slide, More children's services. They have a family wellness center. And wellness centers are funded only in the last since 04, 05, because of the funding from Mental Health Service Act. It is really a great way to support people away from the treatment services. There's also a Stepping Stones drop-in program for transitional age youth from age 16 to 25. And I'm familiar with drop-in program, and they are extremely effective for young people because it doesn't have a medical feel. It has all kinds of activities, vocational services, arts and crafts. It's really a wonderful way to support our youth who's going through a hard time. Next slide, please. For adult services, these are some of the things that they can help you with anxiety, worry, depression, 18, 59 years old, and those are several of their clinics with their phone numbers. Next slide. And now for older adults, if Tony is here, he'll be talking more about this, but older adult services is also throughout Riverside County, and I believe they even have a clinic in Temecula. I never knew Temecula belonged to Riverside County. I mean, this county is humongous. So please contact that number if one of your older relative or friend needs some help. Okay. These are the resources that we are sharing with you today, and we hope that they are going to be helpful to you. For the next part of our presentation, as I mentioned earlier, COVID-19 has really impacted the world, impacted all of our lives in ways that we couldn't imagine. But on the other hand, it's also brought many families closer together. People have more time to reflect. So it's not all bad. But for the sake of our future, for our children going back to school, for our economy, we need to get a hold of this horrific disease and get our lives back and maybe do a better job. Because I think the pandemic has shown and exposed many inequities in our society, from mental health, health, racial justice. There's a lot of things that we need to fix. But at this point, we want to pay a tribute to our COVID heroes. And doing this, again, are two very special people that I want to introduce to you. First of all is Miss Tonika Robinson. Tony is new to Cultural Competency Program, but not to Riverside County. She is the new program manager of the Cultural Competency Program that is supporting the work of AATF. Today's event would not have been possible without Tony's staff, Selene, Tandra, and county staff like Mindy, Yvonne, Novan. I mean, I can go on supporting us. And since Tony's been with us a few months, she has already made wonderful changes in the Cultural Competency Program. She has expanded the cultural populations to include newer populations, such as the Middle Eastern population, and also other cultural groups like veterans will be part of the Cultural Competency Program. So it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Tony. The gentleman on her left is another person that I am very fond of. And as you can tell, my consultant job with AATF has been a blessing in my life since I retired from full-time work, because it has brought so many of you into my life and enriched it in so many different ways. Dr. Andrew Subika is Professor of Social Medicine, Population and Public Health at the UCR School of Medicine. He is the current co-chair with Tony Ortego for the Asian American Task Force. A little tidbit about this young man. He doesn't want me to say it, but I'm going to, so don't get mad at me, Andy. He is a prolific grant writer. I think he gets most of the grants he writes. He is a consummate researcher. He is dedicated to underserved ethnic communities. He just finished a summary of the survey we did last year at the Lunar Fest of 300 people who responded. And in his summary, I can tell that this young man knows his stuff, and he is dedicated to ethnic and minority population. On a personal note, Andy is an avid soccer player. He used to be a rock climber, but not as much these days. And he hails from Hilo, Hawaii. So please help me welcome Tony and Andy, who's going to do a tribute to our COVID heroes.
Thank you for that introduction, Gladys. We just want to take some time to recognize our COVID heroes. We have seen a lot of change since this last year. You know, COVID has impacted all of us, but it's had significant impacts when it comes to the Asian American community. 31% of API adults have been victims of racial slurs, jokes, or attacks. And around 39% have had felt uncomfortable have had people say they felt uncomfortable or look to be uncomfortable around them since the coronavirus outbreak in the United States. So this type of racism contributes to a reluctancy to seek care for Asian Americans. And as a result of that, some of the Asian American communities are facing high case fatality rates when it comes to COVID. So the Asian American case fatality rate is 3 times that of the overall California population. So when you look at California overall, the fatality rate was around 2.6%. And for the Asian American community, it's at 8.4%. The latest data shows that 4 of the 10 states with the highest number of cases are also among the top 10 states in the continental United States with the largest number of AAPI per capita. As recent as November, Pacific Islanders had the highest rate of COVID-19 cases at 100,000 per 100,000 people than any other ethnic group in California. Because of COVID-19, 3,266 more Asian Americans have died this year in California. And that's based over the average rate of death for Asian Americans in the past 5 years. So again, that's 3,266 more Asian Americans have died in the past year in California due to COVID. However, we all know that Asian Americans are resilient. And so we want to take some time to thank and highlight the heroes. From doctors to delivery drivers, the AAPI community makes up the backbone of many critical industries amid the coronavirus pandemic. And I'm going to let Andy continue.
Yeah, that was really good, Tony. Thank you. And thank you for the introduction, Gladys. That was really nice and a lot. So appreciate that. Yeah, as Tony said, I mean, this has been a tough year, right? But through this pandemic, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have continued to do their duties on the front lines, despite facing incredible and continuing racism, discrimination, and assault. Just 2 weeks ago, we saw the horrific assault on a 91-year-old man in Oakland, and that's just the tip of the iceberg just in the past 2 weeks. Yet what's incredible is during this time, from nurses, doctors, CNAs in healthcare settings to grocery store clerks, shipyard workers, security guards, factory workers in industries such as food and shipping, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have bravely led at the very forefront of this pandemic. According to the 2018 American Community Survey done by the US Census, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, they compose 13% of all frontline essential workers in this country, yet only comprise 6% of the total US population. Currently, during the pandemic, 1.4 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are now working in healthcare. And as a result, Asian American and Pacific Islander communities are suffering some of the greatest negative impacts from COVID-19. For example, there are a number of stories in CNN, NBC News, and a lot of news sources that are talking about the immense impacts that COVID-19 has had on Filipino healthcare workers. One stat I find the most alarming and staggering is the fact that although Filipino nurses make up just 4% of nurses in this country, 1/3 of all nurses who have died from COVID-19 during the pandemic have been Filipino. Just last month, the New York Times ran a story that highlighted the exhaustion and toll that this pandemic is having on Filipino healthcare workers who incredibly have many risk factors for serious COVID illness and death, yet have continued to serve on the front lines in emergency rooms, COVID-19 units, and skilled nursing facilities throughout the pandemic. Therefore, like Tony was saying, and Gladys before her, for the bravery shown by many Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders on the front lines who have done what it takes to protect themselves, their families, and their communities during this pandemic, we would like to pay our deepest respect and sincerest gratitude for their tireless work and sacrifice in keeping everyone safe and healthy during this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Andy, Dr. Subika, and to Tony. And yes, we all need to be very grateful for our heroes who is keeping our lives going. I don't cook, so I'm one of those Chinese who don't cook. So without food delivery or restaurants doing curbside, I'm going to be in bad shape. Anyway, we're coming to the end of today's event. The next item is a fun one. It's drawing for gifts. If you registered and we have your email, you are eligible to win one of 5 $20 gift cards. And doing the honor for helping us select these 5 winners is Tony Robinson. Tony.
Hi, I'm back again. So I'm pulling out our red envelope here. And if you look inside, you can see we have everyone's numbers in here. When you registered, each person was assigned a number. So I'm going to pull out the first number is 49, and number 49 is assigned to Elizabeth Kwan. So Elizabeth Kwan, you are our first winner.
Yay! Okay.
The second number I'm pulling out the bag is 106. 106 out of our red envelope. And that is Lori Aldern. Lori Aldern.
Yay!
The next number that I'm pulling out of the red envelope is 21. Number 21. That number belongs to, now this name I might have some issue with, Ella Valine Contrano. So number 21,
Yay.
That was our third one. And I know that Selene's putting the names in the chat as well. So if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Please blame it on my mind, not my heart. The next number is 129. 129 belongs to Julie Carmen. Julie Carmen. And we have one more to pull. So I'm shaking it around. Give it a good shake this time. And the last number coming out of here is 55. 55 belongs to Valerie Dobesh. Valerie Dobesh. Thank you all so much. Those are our 5 winners. You will be receiving a gift card via email and at the email address that you registered with. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony, and congratulations to our winners. We have 2 more slides to end this program. The next one is a New Year greeting finale from our children.
新年快乐，恭喜发财。복 mari pagkasasayo.
Happy New Year's, everyone! We got our red bag!
안녕히 하세요.
Maligayang bagong taon.
Sehapon, manisasayo. Maligayang bagong taon.
恭喜发财，新年发威。Sehe Bok Mani Badu Seyo. Good, Mom?
Thank you. Thank you, APCTC, for such. Okay. Last but not least, on behalf of the Asian American Task Force and RUHS-BH, we want to thank our sponsors who participated in today's program. We want to thank all of our presenters, but I'd like to say a final thank you to this event's planning committee. This event's co-chair, Mrs. Karen Chang from ICAA, and Tony Ortego, Older Adult Administrator, RUHS-BH. Thank you, co-chairs. To our members, Dr. Sheila Wu, you are amazing. Without your help, I think I would need care because Sheila is such a great techie and has a staff who can support us. I want to thank Mindy for being part of our group, Tandra for rescuing me when I'm anxious, and of course, our dear friends from ICAA, Rosalind Liu, and I already mentioned Karen Chang. This really is a group effort. We have never done this kind of big event before, but the final shout out is to Selene Contreras. Selene is new to the county. When we first started this project, I feel so bad that she would have to have such a challenging project as one of her first projects, but I'm telling you, this young lady is cool and smart and really capable, and really helped us a great deal to make this event possible. We don't have time to do an evaluation, but it will be nice before you sign off if you can give us some feedback about today's program. What do you like? What you didn't like? What are some future recommendations? Doesn't have to be long. I see there's a lot of positive comments, but there's always room to grow. So please help us. And final word, Asian American Task Force, we welcome new members. We have not been able to meet, but we are meeting virtually. We typically do 3 to 4 events a year, and we also participate in the public hearing at the Riverside County to promote services to Asian people, to ask for certain programs that would speak our languages and understand our culture. So if you have time, our next meeting is Wednesday, actually the first meeting of the year, February 24th at 3 p.m. And our next event is in May, gonna likely be chaired by Dr. Subika, because May is Mental Health Month and Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. Then we will have our annual suicide prevention social media outreach in September, followed by our annual meeting in November. If you are interested to join, my email is glee.msw, master social work, @gmail.com. glee.msw@gmail.com. Please come and join us because our work is not easy. Providing mental health services to the Asian community is challenging because of the stigma, because we are such a diverse group of people. We don't speak just one language. Just Chinese people alone, we speak many different dialects. Today, you heard a lot of Mandarin, but there's Cantonese, Shanghainese, Taishanese, there's all kinds of different Asian dialects. So at this point, is there any other comment? I can see the total screen. I think it's hard to take a picture because there's so many of us, right, Selene?
I can change the view. I can take you out the spotlight.
Tony, we want to see your face, Tony, Luz. Yeah. Yvonne, Yvonne Brown. Yeah, Tony. Yeah, if we can take a group picture, that would be great. But I'm not the tech person, and so I wouldn't know how to do that. So Selene, you're on.
Yeah, so everybody turn your camera on and I'll take a quick snap. Let me make sure I have everybody in.